This is Piper from Levelset's customer education team, and we are here today for our Levelset 101 webinar. Today, we are going to be covering the basics. So I'm going to be showing you how to add a job into your Levelset account, how to track your deadlines for any legally required notices to protect your lien rights, how to actually order a notice, and then how to resolve an alert from our Scout research team. These are the basics of what you need to get started in your new Levelset account. So let's dive in. First and foremost, when you get started with Levelset, you've got to log into your Levelset account. So you're going to go to levelset.com. I've got it pulled up right here, and you're going to simply click the login button in the top right-hand corner. From the login page, this is where, it's going to log me right into my account here. It's going to ask you for your username and password, of course. If you remember setting up your password, great, plug it in there and you'll be in. If you don't, you can just type in your email address for your username that you use to sign up for Levelset, and then simply click the Forgot Password button to reset. Once you are logged into Levelset, this is what you're going to be looking at. This is your dashboard. To go ahead and get started with adding a job into your Levelset account, right? Step number one, you're going to hover over the blue circle plus button up here in the top right-hand corner, and you're going to click, and then you're going to select project. In Levelset, we use project and job kind of interchangeably. So when you're entering in a new project, you are putting in one of your new jobs. It's going to pull you open into this screen here where we are going to be simply typing in the job information. So today I'm going to enter in a test job with y'all. First and foremost, we've got the project nickname. So whatever you are wanting to call this job internally, we're going to put it in here. So I'm going to call it test project. Project number 9/16/2020. Location and line of business. So if you are working at a company with multiple branches, maybe a couple different lines of business, you can set those up in your Levelset settings so that when you're entering in your jobs, you can decide which job this location and line of business is specifically linked to. So for today, this is actually going to be my California location, and it is my painting line of business. Next up, we have the project address. This is the job site address where the work is actually being done. So this job is at 1 Fake Street, and we're in Beverly Hills. All right, up next, and you can see actually when I was typing that in, we are gonna pop up with suggestions based off of Google Maps. If you see your address, you can just click it and it's gonna fill it in for you. Project type. The project type is really important for Levelset to know so that we can tell you exactly what is required of you to protect your lien rights. This is one of the things that impacts what is required of you, your project type, your role, and your customer's role. So you'll click the drop-down menu and tell us what type of project this is. You'll notice that if you aren't sure, we actually have a little not sure button where we provide you with some tips and tricks for figuring it out. Your role. What is your role on the project? Today, we are going to be a subcontractor and we are going to be hired by the general contractor. If you have any contractual retainage being held on your project, you can plug in the percentage here. If not, then you can just skip right over it. You can see anything that is optional at this point. We'll have this little optional tag right next to it. And then brief description of labor or material provided. Kind of exactly what it sounds like, just a general overview of the work that you are doing on this project. And then next up we have the dates. So we have the date labor material first delivered, date labor materials last delivered. You can see at this point, these dates are optional. We do not need your dates to get the job into your Levelset account. I will say, I want to make it super clear, dates are critical in Levelset because dates are how we track your deadlines. Dates are how we tell you exactly when these notices need to be out by. So while they're not required at this point, I would say if you've got your first date, definitely plug it in. You could even plug in an estimate if you think you know when you're going to be starting, because you can always edit it later. For right now, I'm actually going to leave them blank because I want to show you where exactly you can plug them in at a later date. And then customer details. So whoever you put up here as your customer, as who hired you, their information is going to go down here. If you work with repeat customers, once you type your customer in here once, you aren't gonna have to type it in again. It is gonna be saved to your kind of contacts, company section in your Levelset account, and then you'll be able to just click it like I just did here in my account. You can add in an email address for your customer if you'd like to also email these documents. You will have time to put that in later. And then an external ID is a customer ID number if you use those internally. When you are all set typing in the job information, you're simply going to click the green Save button. And we have successfully added that job into your Levelset account, and it pulls you right into the job summary page. That is what we're looking at right here. Before we get into everything we're looking at here, I do want to take a step back. Let's say we are logged into Levelset, we are on our dashboard. How do you find a job that is in your account? There's two ways I like to point out. First off, you have your job tab up here. You click all jobs, and it pulls you into a list of your active jobs in the system. So the jobs that are open, still waiting for payment, etc. And the job that you just entered is going to be right here at the top. You can either click the title of the job, or you can come over and click the green view button, and it's going to pull you into that job summary page. When you're logging in, if you know exactly what you're looking for, you can also use this search bar at the top here and simply type in, but you do have to spell it right. There we go, test project. And there it is. You'll click the little toolkit, and here we are, back at the job summary page. So, quick tour of what we are looking at here. Some of the most important places, over on the right-hand side here, we have the project details right over here. This is all the information that you just typed in, that you just gave to Levelset. If you need to edit anything after you entered it in, no worries, you have that power. You can come over and click this little down arrow and edit project details, and then you'll be able to make any edits and then save them so that we can update accordingly. The archive project button, we get this question a lot. What do I do when I'm paid, when a job is done? All you have to do is come into the job summary page and click archive project. That is Levelset's way of marking it as paid and complete, and it's gonna take it off of that active job list. So it's gonna stay really organized to just the jobs that need to stay top of mind here. And then over on the left-hand side here, this is what I refer to, this whole kind of side of the page here. This is your deadline section. This is where we tell you exactly what is required of you to protect your lien rights based on the job details you gave us. So it's important to note this is a dynamic section based on that information you gave us. So if we're looking over here, as a subcontractor hired by a general contractor on a commercial project in California, I'm looking down here to see exactly what is required of me. So if you're working nationwide or in a couple different states, if your role varies or the project type varies, this section is gonna look a little different because there are lots of different requirements depending on those job details. So the first section we have in here, there's generally around 3 sections in here with a couple exceptions you might see. The first section is actions to take right now. This is like your bulletin section. If we are missing any information that we need to track a deadline for you, or if there is an upcoming deadline, it's just gonna get pinned up here and highlighted so it is top of mind so you know that some action needs to be taken. So as you can see, I didn't enter in those dates when I put the job into the system, and they are pinned right up here. Levelset is asking me, when did I start work and when did I finish work? That is a signal to me there is some legal document that I should probably exchange, and Levelset isn't tracking it for me yet because we don't have the dates. Before we plug it in, let's take a look at the notice requirements section. This is the second part here, and this is where the preliminary notice is always going to live. The preliminary notice is that friendly document that's generally sent at the start of all of your jobs to promote visibility, meaning you are going to send it to your customer, maybe your customer's customer, to let everyone know on the project who you are and what the work is that you are doing on the project so that they know exactly who needs to be paid. Generally, there is a preliminary notice requirement. Preliminary notice. Most states have some sort of legal requirement around this document. Even if it is not legally required, it is absolutely the best practice to send one of these on all of your jobs. So, If we're looking under these notice requirements, you can see that we've got preliminary notice due. I have a question mark, and then I've got a big old calculate deadline button when I put my mouse over it. That's your signal. Okay, there's actually a legal requirement here, and I need to give Levelset a little more information so that they can tell me which document and what is due. If I click the calculate deadline button, this slider slides out, if you will, and we've got a description of the actual statute. So it tells us exactly what the document is and what the statute is in the state that we are working. So in California, we've got the 20-day preliminary notice. We have to send this preliminary notice within the first 20 days of starting on a job. And it tells you what it's based off of. So again, it's based off of the date labor or materials were first delivered. So we're gonna ask for that date. I can plug it in here. If I plug it in that bulletin section, it's gonna do the same thing. It's gonna start tracking this for me. So while I have this open, I'll go ahead and I'm gonna say we're starting today. I click save. And immediately things start updating. So you can see on this slider we're already on, it's due in 2 weeks by October 6th, 2020. If I click back, you can see now under notice requirements, we've got that little clock signaling that we are tracking something for you, and it tells you right there, it is due in 2 weeks on October 6th, 2020. And that's how any or most deadline tracking works in here, with an exception of some specific notices specific to Texas, Tennessee, Louisiana, and New Hampshire. If you work in any of those states, just let us know and we'll dive a little deeper into those requirements. But for the most part, we need your first day on the job to track the preliminary notice deadline, and then we're gonna need your last day on the job to track the lien deadline. So you might not have that at the start, of course. You can just let this date sit up here until you do have that last day. And let's say I plug it in here. So we are, and I'm just gonna put in what I expect. I think we're gonna be finishing in a week. Plug in the 23rd, I click save. And just like the preliminary notice, if I go down to the lien requirements, now it's actually tracking the lien itself. So the lien is gonna be due in 4 months by December 23rd. So now that's sitting there and that's being tracked for me. If you need to edit these dates, so if you put an estimate and you are ready to put in the exact date, you can 100% edit those dates. 2 different ways. You can either hover over the deadline tracking, click the down arrow, learn more. Here we are back at this slider, and you can just edit it right from here. Or if you scroll down to your project details, you're also gonna see any dates pinned right down at the bottom, and you can just simply click the pencil button and update the date. So now that we've reviewed how to enter in your job, how to enter in your dates so that we are tracking any required documents for you, let's actually walk through ordering one of these notices. The good news is that every document in Levelset follows the same 1 through 5 steps. So once you've done one of these, it's gonna look very similar for any document. We're just gonna ask for different information depending on the document that you're ordering. So we're gonna start with the preliminary notice. We're gonna hover our mouse over the deadline, and now we've got this nice green create notice button, and that's what we're gonna click. And it pulls us into those steps 1 through 5. First off, if the state provides a couple different templates or document options, that's the first thing you're gonna see here. So in California, there's this preliminary notice, and they also give the option of filing a preliminary notice. We will tell you exactly which one is legally required of you with this yellow required tag. So this is the one we're gonna press, because the best practice is to go with whatever the required route is. As soon as I click the document details pop up. You'll notice that a lot of the information is just auto-filled in for me, so don't have to do any typing here unless there's something you wanna add in. We've got the dates. In California, the only required information I need to add is the estimated total contract amount. And again, this might change, this might differ depending on the state you're in. There are some preliminary notices that will ask for different information or no additional information, but rest assured, if there's something missing, we're not gonna let you move forward. So we're gonna highlight it. I'll actually show you here. I'll take out the estimated total contract. I click next. There are required fields that need my attention. It's highlighted in red. All right, let me plug this back in. And now I can click next. Step 4, add contacts. So this is where we tell you who this document is required to go to, and we ask for that information. So this document's got to go to the property owner. Again, I'm looking at that yellow required tag, and it also has to go to the lender if there is a lender on this project. If I have that information when I'm ordering this document, great, I'll type it in here. If I don't have this information, no problem. You'll just click, I don't have this information, and I don't have this information. That is going to signal to our Scout research team when they are reviewing the job and reviewing your notice, getting ready to put it in the mail, that there are some gaps that they need to help fill in. We do have 3 different levels of Scout research. We have Scout Standard, we have Scout Pro, and we have Scout Ultimate. Depending on what level of research is included in your plan, that signals to you how much information they are able to fill in for you. If you have any questions at all about what type of research exactly you have included, just reach out to me, respond to that follow-up, and I'll make sure that that's super clear. All right, we click next. And that's it, we're at the final step. There's not much for you to do here. I view it as kind of a review page, if you will. We're just looking over the order, making sure it's good to go. The first thing you're seeing is processing time. So standard processing is 2 to 5 days. That means from the time I click create document, it goes to the research team. They start reviewing the information, filling in any gaps, maybe alerting you about conflicting information. That process should take around 2 to 5 days, and then we get it in the mail. If you are ever up against a deadline or just need something to go out quickly, then you do always have the option to rush a document. If there's a rush fee, you can see it's actually gonna pop up right next to here. I will say most plans aren't gonna have a rush fee for preliminary notices. We're just in a test plan today, so you can see it popping up here. You'll notice that if you don't have our highest tier of research as a regular part of your plan, you always have the option to add it on case by case if you need some extra research to look into the trickier to find stakeholders like lender, bonding company, etc. And underneath we have the recipient section. So this tells you who it's going to and how it's getting there. Of course, we have the required tags again. So we're gonna tell you exactly how this document's gotta go. Most of these required notices have to go by certified mail, maybe with return receipt. We are gonna handle that all for you. So you can add in email addresses as well at this point if you'd like to email these documents as well. Email is always optional, but it's a great way to get these notices to folks faster. Down at the bottom, you'll see a couple more email options. You can add a note that would show up in the subject of the email, and then send copy to is kind of like CCing someone. So most folks will use this to actually send it internally if you want to receive a copy in your inbox or someone else on your team. And before we actually create this document, let's walk through the preview of the preliminary notice. And every document that you're ordering is gonna have this nice preview on the right-hand side so you can see what the document looks like that you're creating. On the preliminary notice, every preliminary notice has the same first 2 pages here. So the first page is this friendly cover letter, right? That's what I was mentioning earlier. This is the page that tells them who you are, the work that you're doing, how excited you are to be on their project. You are able to customize this a little bit in your Levelset account settings. You can add in a logo, a company description, and a custom message that will all show up right on this front page if you want to personalize it a little more to your business. Second page, we list out who hired you and then the other stakeholders as we fill them in. So for instance, I didn't add in the property owner and lender because I didn't have that, but as our research team fills it in, they're going to show up on this page as well. Again, we are creating visibility. We're letting everyone know who's on this project, who we know, and making it clear if there are people that we don't know, we should receive that information as well. Last page is the page that's going to look a little different depending on the state you're working in. This is where we include any legally required information. This is the part of the document that is protecting your right to file a valid mechanics lien if you need it, hopefully way down the road. Hopefully you'll never need that, but we want to make sure that you can use that really powerful tool if you do need it. So again, this is going to look a lot different depending on what state you're in. All right, once you're all set with the steps 1 through 5, you're just gonna click this green Create Document button, give it a couple seconds, and we successfully created this document order. It is heading to our Scout research team's hands so they can begin their work reviewing the information and then actually creating the document and putting it in the mail for you. What we're looking at right here are the document details. This is an important part of your account because this is where you're going to be able to find a couple things. So order details, if you ever need that, right here at the top. Document preview, when the document is fully processed, it's done, and it's en route to the mail. The actual hard copy will be uploaded here, so you can download it and print it if you ever need it. Recipients is where the tracking information is going to live, so when we're mailing the documents. And then we also have email tracking, so you'll be able to see exactly when it hits their inbox and when they open it. Comments with recipients, so the folks that are receiving this document will be able to send you messages directly through Levelset in the document details. And then files can be an assortment of things. So if you are actually recording a document, maybe we're uploading a recorded version of the document, maybe affidavits of delivery, the Scout research team might upload files that they're using for their work. So, and you always have the order summary as well if you ever need that. So let's click back and touch base on where to find those document details once you do X out of that page. Couple different areas I want to show you. If we're on the job summary page, you'll notice right under notice requirements, now instead of the create document, you can see that your preliminary notice is in line for processing, and I can click the view document button, and here we are back at the details. Two other places where you can find your documents. Again, in the job summary page, you have a documents tab up at the top, and any notice that you're ordering is going to be listed out here. If I hover over and click view, here we are again at the details. And then last place I want to show you is you have a document tab up at the top of your whole account. If you click all documents, that is going to bring you to a page, loading, here we go, of all of your documents. So this is, account-wide across all of your jobs, any document that you've ordered, and you'll be able to check out the status. So this is the one that we just ordered together. It's new. That means research is working on it. You'll see the one right below it. I've actually got an alert pending, which is exactly what we're gonna pivot towards right now. So let's go back into, we'll go into this test job today here. So once you actually order a notice in Levelset, the only thing left for you to do potentially is resolve a Scout research alert, an alert from our research team. So they are going, if they're looking over your job, looking over your notice, and they find any conflicting information or new information that you have told us that you want to be alerted about, then we might send you an alert, and you have to resolve that in that processing time. So I want to show you today how to actually resolve that alert. Here I am back in a job summary page, and you can see again up in the actions to take right now, this bulletin section, we're pinning it up here. Scout Research found new details on your preliminary notice, and again it's right here under notice requirements. And then when we're logging into Levelset, you should always check out your notification center first. That's up in the top right hand corner. This little bell icon, you can see the red number 1. That means there's something for me to take a look at. If I click the bell, it says Scout Research needs your attention on one document. Important to note, we send you a notification here, and we will also send you an email so that it's super clear that you need to log into your account to take a look at a Scout Research alert. I click the notification, and it's gonna pull me into my document alerts tab, and it's gonna show me the document that needs my attention. I hover over the document, I click resolve, and it pulls me back into a different part of the document details. And here's where I review the different alerts that I might have from the Scout Research team member. So we've got a couple different alerts here. Scout Research needs your help. First and foremost, they're asking, do I have any additional details about the project address? Okay, I also see I have a message directly from the member of the Scout Research team who's working on my document, Taylor. Do you have any other information such as parcel number, cross street to help me locate this job? All right, maybe I'll add in, let's say unit 3. And then I click save. That's resolved. I'm also gonna send Taylor a quick message. Hi, Taylor. Yes, I just updated it and sent. let me know if you need anything else. I'm going to send it right to her. So you can communicate back and forth directly with the member who's working on this document. Let's take a look at the rest of the alerts. Any alert is the portion of this page that's highlighted in yellow. These are the things that you need to take action on. All right, we've got 4 more suggestions. So which general contractor? So it looks like I provided this general contractor and Taylor actually found a conflicting general contractor. And then you have to tell us, how or which one do you want us to use? You do have the option to use both down in the corner, but I'm going to trust the Scout research team here. I'm just gonna click it and update to the one that she found. Property owner, I didn't provide a property owner, so I definitely just wanna use the one that she filled in. Project address, gotcha, a slight difference here. I provided road, it's actually drive, great. I'm gonna update that. Project type, it looks like I put this in as commercial. She found that it was residential. I'm gonna click there. And that's it. All those alerts are resolved, and now the research team can, go forward with processing the document and get it out into the mail. If we click back, now it's disappeared from my document alert section, and when I'm logged in, my notification center should be all cleared up. Yep, no more alerts up in that top right-hand corner. You do have control over what we're alerting you about. So if there are pieces of information that you never have, so alerting you about it isn't gonna be a great use of your time, right? You just want us to update it and send it on your way. That's great, that's totally fine. What I'm gonna ask you all to do is make sure to go up into your settings, gear icon here, and go to your Scout Research preferences, because these are the settings that tell our Scout Research team what you want to be alerted about versus what you would just like us to update and send on its way. So we have a couple different scenarios laid out, and when you click edit, you'll be able to tell us, let me choose each time means that you want to be alerted every time there's something conflicting or something new, so we'll send you that alert. All right. So that about does it. We have covered adding in a job into your Levelset account, how to add in your dates to track your deadlines, how to order a notice, how to find those document details, and how to resolve an alert from our Scout research team. Obviously, as you're getting used to this account and getting in here for the first time, there's a lot of places you can go for help if you have questions. My favorite place is up here in the need help section, right here, settings gear icon, contact support. So you can live chat our support team. They respond within seconds. This is the quickest place for you to go if you need quick help. So you forget where a button is or how to do a certain action in your account, please utilize our support team, and please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you need anything at all. I am happy to help. That is what I'm here for.